The saloon door swung open. There he stood, a mountain of a man in a dirty cowboy hat. He was covered in the dust of the prairie, his face withered from the sun. A bandana tied around his neck, his broad chest covered by a shirt and vest, a gun belt dangling around his waist, his lanky legs covered by dark stained pants, and cowboy boots on his feet. As he walked in the room, I noticed he had an unforgettable swagger. When he opened his mouth to speak, his voice was as rough as his appearance. Was this a real cowboy, I asked myself, the first time I ever saw him scroll across the big screen? No, this was a cowboy movie legend. He was John Wayne. I have watched John Wayne in movies since I was a little girl, and I have loved him in every one. But before I tell you about the legend, let's talk about the man behind the legend. According to the information I referenced on Wikipedia.com, the man was Marion Robert Morrison. At least that was the name he was given. He was born May 26, 1907 in Winterset, Iowa. The newspaper in his hometown reported his birth at 13 pounds. His parents, Clyde and Mary Morrison, changed his middle name to Mitchell in 1911 when his brother Robert was born. He relocated to California when he was 9 years old because of a lung condition that his father had. There was a local firehouse in his neighborhood that he passed by almost every day. One of the local firemen there started calling him Little Duke because wherever he went, he had his Airedale Terrier named Duke. This is where the name came from, the Duke. He attended Glendale High School and excelled in academics and athletics. He received a football scholarship to USC to play under Coach Howard Jones. This is where his life would take a drastic change. Upon graduation, he wanted to join the military, so he applied to the U.S. Naval Academy but was rejected. Instead, he pursued the football scholarship to USC. The Duke was athletically active in football and body surfing. He was in Newport Beach and had an accident that broke his collarbone. Unable to play football, USC dropped his scholarship. But USC coach Howard Jones had given tickets to silent film star Tom Mix, and in exchange, he got the Duke a job as an extra and a prop man. His accident had changed the course of his life. He just didn't know it yet. In the beginning of his acting career, he played bit roles in B films. During his career, he would play many different genres in war films, romantic comedies, police dramas, histories, and westerns. In 1930, he got his first starring role in The Big Trail. He had this to say about it. "I was sure I'd set the world on fire, and it was hard for a young feller like me to realize the truth. I hadn't set the world on fire. I was totally unprepared to handle the consequences of The Big Trail had it been a success and launched me as a star." He was admitting he was not ready for stardom, but it was coming. In 1939, his role in Stagecoach made him an instant star. That was the moment the world was introduced to the new Western hero. John Wayne was born, but he was not legendary yet. So let's talk about what made him a legend. During his extraordinary film career that spanned 5 decades, from 1930 to 1976, he made 175 films, 142 of which he had the starring role. His most revered performance was in the movie The Searchers, which many have claimed was the best performance of any actor ever on film. In 1969, he won the Best Actor Oscar for his role in True Grit. After his death in 1979, he received the Congressional Gold Medal by the U.S. government. Many stars testified on his behalf to receive this honor. He also received the highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, in 1980 by President Jimmy Carter. Now that you know the man behind the legend, it's easy to see how he became so loved and revered by all of America. While filming his last movie, The Shootist, he showed his true character by refusing to shoot a man in the back, by saying, "I made over 250 pictures and I've never shot a guy in the back. Change it." Although he succumbed to stomach cancer in 1979, his legacy will live on for generations to come. If it had not been for that fateful day in Newport Beach, the world may not have been introduced to the all-American film hero that has stood the test of time, John Wayne.